Well, for more on this, I'm now joined in studio by Dr. Nicodemus Minde from the Institute for Security Studies, ISS. Dr. Nicodemus, thanks for your time. Let's talk a bit about FDLR. The authorities in Rwanda say they are concerned about this group that's in DRC. How much of a threat, has your research shown they are?
Of course, this has a lot of historical nuances around it. Of course, the FDLR is a Hutu-based rebel group that has remnants from the 1994 genocide now stationed in eastern DRC. So you will see this ethnic angle and historical factors based on the 1994 genocide, which Kigali or Rwanda still believes that they still harbor genocidal ideas that could either threaten the regime in Kigali. Of course, they have also mentioned they will also want to overthrow the government in Kigali. So you can understand why Rwanda is cautious and afraid or cautious about the FDLR group.
Do you sense that the FDLR could be represented in some form in the talks tomorrow, or be a key talking point in the discussions?
Of course, it will feature in what we call the historicity or the root causes of the conflict. And of course, one of the issues that will be discussed are general armed groups, and FDLR is one of the armed groups. And of course, there are many other armed groups, the likes of M23 and many others. The United Nations estimates to be about 120 to 150 armed groups. So the question of armed groups will feature highly in the discussions in the joint summit tomorrow. It
sounds like there'll be quite a lot to unpack in that summit tomorrow. What sort of leverage would the leaders of EAC and SADC, the representatives and the presidents have, to find a way to get these two leaders to move these talks forward?
I think what this joint summit provides is this regional platform. Regional economic communities or regional organizations have historically played central role in conflict mediation and a platform where dialogue is actually done. So these two regional blocks which bring together Rwanda, which is in the east, and DRC, which both straddles in Southern Africa and Eastern Africa, presents a very important avenue. But of course, the two regional blocks have also been involved in one way or the other in the negotiation of peace or peace processes in both DRC and Rwanda. So they have this leverage or historical angle that they enter into these negotiations.
Realistically, what would a breakthrough look like?
Mostly, if you look at the communique that was issued by these two separate regional economic communities, was the end of hostilities and a ceasefire, unconditional ceasefire. So I think a realistic endpoint will be that, and of course opening the avenue for further dialogue. But of course, the other important thing that we look for tomorrow is confidence building and ending mistrust amongst these two leaders, that is President Tshisekedi of DRC and President Kagame of Rwanda.
Is that possible to do in a two-day summit? We're going to have to wait and find out. But I'm imagining there's a lot of discussions happening behind the scenes.
For sure.
In the midst of all that. Dr. Nicodemus Minde from the Institute of Security Studies, thank you so much for joining us on the program. We'll just have to wait and see what transpires on Saturday.